Good day everyone, it's Nick here. As we listen to this funky music, we're having a look, as you can probably read on the screen, Space Racer on the Commodore Amiga. Published by Loriciels in 1988, a French outfit. The game also came out on the Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, Commodore 64 DOS and the Spectrum, which you've already reviewed. It was quite ropey on the Spectrum because it struggled with the frame rate. It was trying to do quite a lot. It's a sci-fi game, a chase view game. We ride on a hoverbike on alien planets, and we must beat all our opponents over different stages. That's pretty much it. Must avoid crashing. Looks like this. Oh, that's different from the Spectrum version. There's 3 modes. Let's go on. I like the one with the skulls on it. Number 3. Let's go on that. Here we go. I'm not holding up much hope for this game, but let's see how it plays. Sounds okay. Ooh. Okay, right. Yeah, same as the Spectrum one. Took a while to get going. Right, it's fire button to accelerate. By going up and down on the joystick, you control your height. If you get to a certain sweet spot, the bike does speed up. You have to ease off the fire button for accelerate round the corners. Now, oddly on this one, this is strange now. To fire your opponents out the way is not on the joystick. I can't find a way to reconfigure that. It's the spacebar to fire. And there's no way, oh man, there's no way I can commentate on this, control it with the joystick going left and right, up and down, and fire button to accelerate, and lean forward and do the space bar as well. That's just too impossible. Even if I wasn't commentating, I still don't think I could rest and do the space bar, because as soon as my eye goes off the screen, I would crash more times than Space Harrier. But we'll just try and get to the end and beat our opponents. Now, you see our points ticking up there, and I think there's some yellow dots represented by where we are in the race. I think as soon as that gets to 0, I think we've got to the end, I believe. Sounds okay, controls awful, playability is not very good. You can see where you're going in this one, unlike the Spectrum version though. It's just too narrow. Maybe because I've got it on level 3, maybe level 1 is easier. I shouldn't have gone on here first of all. So we'll do a bit of a go on this, see how long it lasts, see if we can get to the end. And then I'll probably do stage 1 at the end. Well, what was that? There's a bit of an artifact on the screen there. That must be some sort of drawing error. A little bit jittery, could have been a bit smoother, but it is 1988. Do check out the Spectrum version. This is better than the Spectrum version, but it's still not a very good game. Loriciels didn't really publish that many good ones. They seem to be a bit mediocre without being terribly rubbish. Turbo Cup's another one of theirs. A game I haven't reviewed, I think by them, is Panzer Kickboxing. That's quite a good game, I seem to remember. I might have to try and dig that one out at some point. Boo, but you've pretty much seen all this game has to offer straight away. Yeah, we're on a hoverbike, we're in the future, and we don't go into space at all. It's just different alien planets. I don't know what planet this is. I developed one. There's some domes in the horizon there. Not much variety. It's the same scenery going past each time. There's no map on the screen to see whereabouts around the track you are or how far you're going to get to. So it's going to be frustrating for a lot of people that played this back in the day. Now, if you did own this one, then let me know. But I don't want you to have played it a great deal. The Commodore Amiga was awash with racing games, most of them not very good. A lot of them mediocre, and there's a few really, really good ones, like yeah, Lotus 2, Lotus 3, Jaguar XJ220, Supercars and all those ones. Nitro's another one, Micro's Formula 1, Stunt Car Race. I could go on and on, but those games are not very many compared to the hundreds of other Duff ones. It's fun to see the Duff ones as well as you crash into another futuristic telegraph pole. What are these things? Some sort of solar generators or some such. Looking very purple. The line down the middle is moving, but yeah, a little bit of undulation, but not a great deal. I'm not enjoying this really. It's the sort of game you're playing when you're hoping to get to the end as quickly as possible. It's not a game you would have got out to impress your friends when they come round saying, look, buy a Commodore Amiga, this is the sort of games you can get, and they look at it and think, nah. Yeah. It's automatic gears for what it's worth. No speedo that I can make out on this. I don't know what those other dials are for. No rear view mirror. Not like Vroom. That had a rear view mirror. That was quite good. Oh man, just end stage. End. The horizon's not getting any closer at all. It's trying to do quite a high speed, but if you want a good example of speedy games, then look at Lotus. The Lotus trilogy, all three of them, they handle speed very well. A little bit jittery, the scenery going past, probably because of the angle. It's clever you can go up and down in height though. You need a bit of skill on this. I'm not crashing as much as I thought I would do. But yeah, I don't know what position I am. So the yellow lights are on 3 left, 3 ticking around. I believe when they go to 0, that's that. On the Spectrum version, I didn't complete a single stage, but I was shooting as much as I could on that one because the controls are easier. There's probably a way of reconfiguring it on this, but I can't work it out. Maybe it's easier doing it on keys completely, but you know, left, right, up, down, fire button, accelerate, and also spacebar. No, get it all on the joystick, coders. What were you thinking? It would be nice when the hover bike crashes. It does flip over sometimes, but it's lacking frames. They shouldn't have bothered. Oh, we got to the end. Hooray! When it flipped over, there's a few more frames. It would look quite cool. Right, next stage. We're on another planet. Looks like there's skulls about the place, and there's another artifact on the screen. Go! Yeah, lag again. Go! This is a planet with huge skulls on, probably carved out the rock, or are they real people? Yeah, it looks very gothic here. It's gothic land. We're in the desert. People keep overtaking me. Probably cutting the corners. Maybe I can cut the corners a bit better. I'm racing like a newbie on my speeder bike thing here. But futuristic bike games, Stun Runner wasn't a very good one either. That was a bike game. Stick to your normal bike game. Super Hang On. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong on that one. Yeah. I'm bored. Now, if you liked this game back in the day, if you actually owned it, then let me know. I don't think there's too many exciting versions. I'm presuming the Atari ST version played roughly similar as did, well, the Commodore 64. I imagine that's got a little bit more colour than the Spectrum version, but not quite as good as this, because the Commodore Amiga is an evolution from the 64 and the 128 and all that biz. Can I cut the corner? No, the bike slows down way too much when you do that. This guy be good on his paper round with one of these. If I had one of these on my paper round back in the day, it would have been an absolute doddle. But they weren't invented yet, so I had to do the whole thing on a space hopper. That is a lie. I'm going slowly insane playing this thing. This isn't going to be a review that lasts half an hour. Or is it? It depends how long this stage lasts. Oh man, there's a few drawing errors on this. But it's not affecting the playability too much, because the playability is, well, average. It's not terrible as such, it's just average. Wouldn't like to play full price for this game back in the day. Loriciels. You might love this game, I don't know. Let me know if you do. Oops, I can't get in the groove. As a guy shakes his fist, that's quite a good animation, I suppose, comparatively. Where are those skulls again? We want the skulls back. Right, I'm not going to continue doing these on stage 3. We'll get out of this at some point. I'll take you by surprise. And we'll do level 1. See if it starts off easier than this or as quick. Yeah. One of the worst racing games I think I've played on the Commodore Amiga. Have a look at Days of Thunder. On the Amiga 1200 it might be good. On the Amiga 500 it really suffers from slowdown. I reviewed that a long time ago. Days of Thunder, terrible film as well, starring Tom Cruise. I don't know who's on this bike. It's not Tom Cruise. It's a small fella though. Maybe it is him. He's in blue. That would have been nice if you can choose what colour your bike was. That might have added a bit to it. But I suppose you couldn't have games like Wipeout and Roll Cage, which come later, about these forerunners. So they're doing a good job in evolution. A lot of games influence games that come afterwards. So you know, it's all a part of the rich fabric. Take a few crappy games out of the equation, and you might not have the good games because people wouldn't have seen those and thought, I want to do a game a bit like that, but better. So they're all important, really, but it is quite painful. It's growing pains. Oh dear, is this line going to stay blue all the way along? Brum, brum, brum. Engine sounds stay roughly the same throughout. Feels like it's in a bit of a high gear. I would like to see more variation, like you go over waterways, bridges, traffic jams, all that sort of stuff. Maybe cars crossing one way, a spaceship landing, but none of that stuff. It's very samey all the way down as far as the eye can see. And my eyes are starting going a bit weird now. I might need glasses soon, but I've been saying that for years. It might explain my gameplay. I'm being overtaken by practically everyone. See, I desperately want to shoot him, but instead I bashed him off the circuit, if indeed it is a circuit, on Planet Unknown Land. There's the skulls back again. Whoops, a bit of a flipperooly. That's a technical term for you. So, graphics are good, I'd say, but very sparse. Gameplay is limited, and in the end of the day, it's not enough variety to keep someone entertained. It's a bit frustrating. Buff. Frank Buff. If you recognise those skulls in the distance there from anyone you know, then let me know who they are. But they must be quite big people, quite big heads. We've finished! Hooray! Hooray! Oh god, this stage looks very similar to the last stage, if not identical. It's identical! You can't fool me. Oh man, I don't want to do this all again. Yes, I don't know what those triangle signs mean. What do they mean? Nobody knows. We need to get out of here, folks, I think. We scored 30,400 and something points. Is that a lot? It's meaningless. It don't mean nothing to me. No coincidence this game hasn't been remade. Although it's quite a cool name, Space Racer. Not in space, alien planets. Well, what do you know? Alien planets from a different system. And I think that's enough of that. Game over. I've hit escape. Let's get to level 1. A quick go. Cool, we're playing this a little while. Quick go level 1. That's supposed to be the easiest, I would presume.
Hello.
Oh, right, we're on some sort of grassland. There's no scenery at all here. Boom. This is more like an Earth type planet, I think. Is this different? I suppose the signs are slightly wider apart, ever so slightly. Oh man, this looks rubbish now. This is rubbish. Well, okay. Yeah. I think we've seen enough of this thing. Yeah. Up, down, left, right. There seems to be less contenders coming past us. So level 1, although it's marginally easier, it's quite a bit more boring. I want to lean forward and hit the space bar, but I can't. But just imagine a yellow fireball firing out the front of the bike, and there we go. If you've completed this, then let me know what happens in the end. I'm guessing a rather lackluster animation, but it might be absolutely sensational, so let me know if it is sensational. I don't think many people would have had the energy or the inclination to complete this. But, you know, I might be wrong. It wouldn't be the first or the last time I was. Yeah, let's just I just want to find a cafe somewhere and just pull up in there and say, that's it for me, my racing days are over. Well, I hope you liked having a look at that one. That was Space Racer on the Commodore Amiga, very mediocre, published by Loriciels in 1988. Thanks for watching that as always. Got any comments about this game, similar games, anything on the Commodore Amiga or retro based, then please put that below. Until next time, take great care of yourself and are very fond. Goodbye!
Goodbye.